Right. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Very much appreciated. Today, we'll be covering our SMBsecure ASP enablement with respect to cybersecurity awareness training. So to give you a bit of positioning, right? The reason why we push so heavily with respect to cyber awareness training is twofold, right? On the one aspect, you have obviously the security question that is addressed, where um, with respects to strengthening the overall security posture of your customer's organization, they would obviously require some form of cybersecurity training, simply because cybersecurity is an all-inclusive endeavor. Everyone has a role to play. It's not just for the technical team, right? And then the second fold to that conversation as well would be a compliance question as well. So with respects to compliance in various verticals, you would need to provide some form of evidence to the various regulators, to insurers, that you are running an awareness training campaign in order to ensure that you have everything aligned with respect to that. With that being said, I will let Amit give us a brief presentation with respect to the training, and then we will pursue conversations towards the demo, and then thereafter we'll have some time for questions and answers. Amit?
Great. Thank you for that, Jacob. Truly appreciate it. And once again, honored to be on the session with all of the partners today. And hopefully you find this insightful. Just to confirm, are you able to see my PPT? All good? All right, fantastic. All right, so another one of the series, and let's proceed. So let's just cover what the SMBsecure Cyber Awareness Training is all about. Really, it is to help you help your customer build their human firewall. This is paramount, and it's ultimate in terms of the protection of any business that's out there right now. You can have whatever technical tools you want to deploy. Your frontline employees of your customers are that first line of defense, and it's absolutely important that we shield the business through that firewall. So many of you, or some of you, would have been familiar with the previous platforms or all the platforms that we've used. And we've since transitioned, and we are busy transitioning existing customers to a newer platform. When we were reviewing platforms that were out there, there were a couple of things that were quite important for us to consider. And we've been looking at adoption rates, we've been looking at how users were conducting their training or performing their training. And what was really important for us is to seek out something that was designed to be really simple, really slick, really easy so that the user embraces it. We were finding quite a lethargic approach to education and training, and it's not just us, it's not unique to us, it is industry wide. And finding innovative ways on how you can train your users is absolutely important and absolutely paramount. So the premise for the foundation of this platform powering the service is simplicity. And it's everything that SMBsecure stands for. We always try to keep things as simple as possible. Now, really, it's about encouraging user learning, not discouraging it, right? Because the more we can get the user to, keep doing their training, the better they become informed, the more aware they are. And it's all about developing what we call a vigilant cyber defender. Just remember, awareness training is included in both standard and advanced subscriptions at no extra cost. It's built in. For those of you deploying the Outlook plugin to your customers, remember there's the check for fish button, and they work hand in hand, right? Because users would need to be able to recognize risk scenarios so they can stop, think, and check things. And if they feel unsafe or they feel uneasy, press that check for fish button. And of course, our analyst team will check things out and actually tell the user or check out the email to tell the user, whether it's phishing or not. So this is really the foundation of the the platform and the training that we were after. Looking ahead, we wanted to reimagine training. We really wanted to move away from the traditional approach. So out with the traditional approach, in with the new, and moving this from a chore to something that's practical, because we really know that when you assign training to users, they see it as a chore and it's like, oh, something I got to do, and oh, it's taking up my time and I'm too busy and I've got 30 other things I need to get through today. So moving this into something practical was really key and paramount. Now, I would state that part of your role is that this is a very different approach to training, and you should take the time to just explain this training approach to your users or to your customers. One of the key things we wanted to get rid of, and we know that doesn't really work well for most users, is no more watching of those boring cyber training videos, right? They're tedious. Users kind of see it as a chore, and we really wanted to move away from that. This is all about being quick and fast, providing bite-sized lessons or learning. And that's the secret sauce for what we were after. Something that is nimble and effective, and users, kind of don't feel feared by doing it. They don't think this is going to take them 30 minutes to complete, or there's another video that they have to watch, etc. Really quick and sharp, few minutes at a time, and they're off to and that's what we were really after. We're powering this with the Preventive platform, which is using a science-backed learning methodology, and I'll talk about that a little bit more just now. And progress is actually celebrated with the user through gamification. This includes skins, badges, points that they receive, and of course, there's a company leaderboard that's been developed as well, so that users become competitive in taking up their learning and their training. Now, one of the key things is continuous reinforcement of a concept or a lesson. And that effectively means that you need to repeat these things, but you need to do it in a way that the user doesn't get bored about it, but we trigger memory recall. And so spaced repetition learning is one of those approaches and methodologies. And effectively, that means that this module or this platform embraces space-based repetition learning. And that's really key. One of the things that complements that is what we call defense boosts. And defense boosts are there to basically encourage memory stability and retrieval ability. That's ultimately memory recall. So we take the same concept and we do it in kind of different ways, but essentially there to stimulate the memory and to help that user recall that concept or that lesson all of the time in different ways. And this whole memory strength measurement is absolutely key. It is tracked and it's reflected to the user in their portal using what we call a defense meter. And it's self-adjust and it's adaptive. And essentially, that means that the user would basically continuously build their knowledge through memory recall and memory strength. And that is fundamental to learning methodology. So hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. But when I show you the demo, that might become a lot more prevalent. Some of the user benefits. If any one of you have been for a trivia night, at a school, at a pub, at a function, you know it's kind of exciting. And actually through trivia, you unknowingly actually learn. We were at a trivia night and we were asked a question. We got it wrong on our table. And when we got the answer, well, we all remembered it, right? But that is cool. But in order to continuously remember it, that had to be recalled and reinforced all of the time. So this whole space-based repetition learning approach is important to keep that lesson and to keep that knowledge alive. So this follows a trivia style lesson or learning methodology, which is to first check understanding and to reinforce the learning. And we're not talking about taking up, probably not more than 2 to 3 minutes of the user's time in a day or whenever this is allocated. So it's quick and sharp, probably anything between 5 to about 8 questions, depending on the module. It's learning on the go, minimal distractions for them, and it's really ideal for that busy knowledge worker and executives. So we want to encourage them to do this. We find that when people don't do the first one, they don't have a sense of it. So it's your job to really make sure that you encourage the user to do the first one. Because when they see how quick and sharp and easy it is, when they get the next training assignment or they get a reminder for it, well, they're friendly to it, and we don't want them to resist it. The training will automatically resurface certain learning concepts, and that's about all retaining awareness and knowledge with that user. One of the things that's also built into the platform is a data breach exposure service where it's doing dark web and illicit website monitoring, and it reports that to the user if their email address has been used or exposed out there, and it also shows them in practical ways remediation actions that they should take in their personal capacity. So it's really cool. This is all bundled in with the platform, and they have this in their dashboard. Now, the dashboard itself is very nimble, it's very slick, and it's very efficient. And there's also a leaderboard there. Now, whilst we might be assigning training to the user or the learner, they have full access to a concept library. So if they got spare time or they're willing to just kind of, dabble along in their portal, well, they can continue on and they can actually enhance their knowledge further. So we're not restricting them based on only what is assigned. They have full access to the knowledge library or the concept library, and they can continue from there. Now, learning through trivia, okay, which auto adapts based on learners' responses, is really fundamental to this platform. There's kind of an AI built in underneath this that measures certain parameters on response rates and what they responding to and whether they're getting things wrong or right, and it self adapts and it adjusts, and basically through that it will also learn in terms of its frequency of defense boosts, etc., and that will automatically come in based on the platform itself. So it's quite, interactive, and it adapts based on each user's individual need and learning experience. I'm sure there's questions coming up, so you can start noting them, and I'll be happy to take them at the end. All right. Let's talk about what's coming next as well. We have been engaging with many of you. We listen well, and we are delivering. So I'm pleased to announce that probably coming within the next month or two is some new features specifically for you, our partner. And that is really to bolster. I'll just pause for a moment so you can actually see the slide there. So we are giving you a new streamlined ASP dashboard. It's not complicated. It's got none of the stuff that you need to do. This is still fully managed for you, but it will empower you to at least give you visibility in terms of your organizations and the learners within that organization. So stay tuned. You will have access to that dashboard coming soon. And we're very excited to bring that dashboard to you. Let's look at one of the key things that you've been asking for. And there's really an oversight in terms of the users or learners for each organization and your ability to assess that, to be able to add users yourself, to invite them again, or to re-invite, as I said, to delete them or to recycle any learners that change within the organization, because the organization will have churn. And maybe you don't want to be over reliant on us, and you effectively want to, self manage that bit. So we're giving you access to that component. What is also key is that you can assess the learners itself from your dashboard. So you can check out their profile, and you can also review notification logs. One of the key things is a user saying, well, they don't receive an invite or they didn't see the notification. And so your ability to kind of check that out is really important. So one of the things we'll be providing you here is the history or notification log audit. So exactly showing invites or reminders that's been sent by the platform and a full audit trail of that for you. So hopefully you find that cool. All right, another key thing is a self-serve reporting capability. So the reports have been developed. They're really cool. They look slick. They look neat. One pages. You can download or you can print these reports for your customer. Or better yet, you can draw them on demand on your dashboard. But even better, you'll be able to schedule delivery to multiple recipients. So if you want to send this to the HR manager and the owner and yourself and your admin team, you can self-define the report delivery. What is cool about the report delivery, there's no actual attachments. It's purely an email link that will be sent out, so you don't have to worry about blockers and those kind of things. But really, the team has worked extremely hard here. And the way this will be accessed is simply through a tokenized link, a strong tokenized link, so that they don't have to log into portals or remember anything. You send them a report, they click the report, they get access to it. Of course, that report is tokenized. So essentially, there's security built into all of that stuff as well. That is really cool. And you can have that developed and delivered on a schedule once a month, once a quarter, to whoever you want within that organization or externally as well. So it's really cool. And there are multiple report types, from executive reports to learning assignments to exposed data reports and simulation campaign reports as well. So that's all there. And we're excited about this. And again, this will be coming within the next month or two direct to you as the partner. From a user perspective, some of the new features that we'll be adding to the platform. There's a new audio player that's coming in as well. So playable learning concepts for content. Certificates for the users so they can, print and download them specific to their own training or lesson. Role-based learning. So one of the things you see that we ask you for, or when you add a learner, you'll be asked for, which is basically a role or a department. And that is in time, we will be adjusting the trivia so that it's tailored based on their job roles. So if you're in finance, the way we pose those questions will be about invoices or relative to that job role. If you in sales, then it's about your CRM and about sales and customer engagement. So all of that's coming into the platform. And again, we're excited about that. We're also pleased that we'll be kind of releasing our bot or cyber guardian, more real-time capability here, where we can trigger awareness and knowledge and lessons based on certain aspects going on within the environment, and so that it can be triggered awareness and guidance provided directly to that learner. So again, really, really cool. Note your questions and we'll answer them in the end. How do we help you sell and position this? There's obviously the website. There's the info sheets or the new info sheets, and there's a brandable version of this where you can drop your logos, etc. in there. And so you can position to your partners, customers, whoever, so that the whole positioning of SMB Secure and the value proposition is pitched. Because remember, this is included. Whether they use it or not is up to them, but it's included and it's part of security strengthening and security posture. So hopefully they see that value. Okay, let's look at use cases, right? We've been tracking and we know that probably around 87% of cyber attacks rely on social engineering and poor security hygiene to deceive the users. Now, your customer user could be next. But ultimately, if you look at your customer's environment, why would they need something like this? And why the entire pitch of SMB Secure is so important, inclusive of the awareness training. First and foremost, no pun intended there, preventi. We want to prevent risk. Employees who are risk aware and vigilant, help mitigate the business from being scammed and attacked. If they have or taking up cyber insurance or you're taking the SMB Secure warranty, Well, there's stipulations by the insurer for coverage to be effective. Users need to be continuously aware and trained. Regulatory compliance, things like POPI, things like the Cyber Joint Standard for financial service providers, all call for education of users and awareness of users as part of risk mitigation. So this is a tick box that they definitely need if they're needing to comply. If they're following or customers are following any form of cybersecurity framework, whether it's NIST, CIS, or they're going for ISO certifications, or they have to comply with PCI DSS for payment card industry, then all of these standards, you have to check a box that basically requires you to train, but not just require that, show evidence of that and show ongoing capabilities. And this is all built into that platform as well. So very cool. Supply chain requirements is something that we're seeing new on the horizon here, where there's mandates now by vendors and in contractual agreements for users within the supply chain to be educated about business email compromise, about risk, about fraud invoices, etc. Because everybody is only as safe as the entire community is safe. So we're seeing a lot of this come through. Just to kind of conclude the presentation side of things, just talking you through the workflow. Your users will receive an invite from the platform, a training invite. They would need to click that invite to verify their email address, etc., and they'll be taken to the portal. One of the first things they'll be allocated is Cyber Awareness Essentials, which is just a baseline of training or fundamental training, and it's just to get a gauge and to start them. So it's nothing complicated, nothing hard in concept, very basic, very simple, and it's just to get them going with the feel of what ongoing training is going to be like. And we feel that this will encourage them rather than discourage them. Thereafter, the platform will send reminders, we will assign training, and of course, automatically for that user, they will get what we call boosts, where the platform, through its AI, is detecting memory decay, etc., with that user, and will feel that this user needs a resurface of certain concepts or lessons, and will resurface a series of same or different questions over a period of time so that the memory recall is there and we resurface things back to the top of the memory again. Underpinning all of this is simulation testing as well. So that's there optionally or mandatory, depending on how you want to look at it. But it will basically validate the education and knowledge through actual real stuff. I mean, yesterday I was with a customer and we did an actual simulation of a very real looking LinkedIn invite from somebody to test that user. Unfortunately, that user was suspicious about it and they didn't respond and things. But of course, these are very, very legit looking things. And we have all of the localization capabilities for all of the banks locally, for some of the stuff local, like Takealot, etc. So all of those templates are pre-built in. And of course, as part of the managed service, the team will manage those simulations on your behalf to your endpoints and customers. So hopefully that workflow gives you a bit of a sense there. So remember, SMB Secure, its premise is about simplicity and it's about helping you keep your customers' business and data safe. So with that, you can gather your questions. I'm just going to stop sharing the demo or the slide now, and I'm going to just switch to the platform and actually just give you a sense of what the actual user goes through once they're in their portal. And in terms of that portal, like I said, it is really streamlined. It's really simple. Nothing really for them to be concerned about or worry about. Let me take a quick look here. All right, hopefully you are still seeing the portal. Jacob, just confirm. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, so it looks like you're good. All right, so when the user comes in, this is their learner dashboard. Just remember, for those of you that's also implementing the Outlook plugin for PDF email encryption, we have embedded the capability for them to access the training platform anytime from inside of Outlook. Currently, it's a bit mixed between the old and the new platform, but I think within the next week or two, we will switch everybody to the new portal so that they can see what this new portal looks like. So when they come in, they've got a home landing dashboard. It's very simple, very slick. They've got their Cyber Guardian there, and of course, they can see what their defense meter looks like, and it will build up over time. It's very gamified, so they've got their tokens and their coins, and they can change all of these skins based on tokens that they win, etc. If we've assigned training to them, then of course those modules appear here, and they continue to look at them. They go on to their learn menu. Then we can see training that's been specifically assigned to that user, but they also have access to the all content. And again, there's a series of learning concepts here, and each concept is baked into different lessons. And that's where the audio player will be as well, so they can review any of that stuff. And I only got one test user in here, but as you go, the company will establish a leaderboard, not with actual names, with pseudo names and things. And of course, they will gamify and play against each other to win tokens and coins, and it's all part of it. One of the cool things in the learner dashboard as well is the data breach section, which essentially will allow the user. There's real-time monitoring, and if it picks up that there's a data breach against that email address, as you can see, I'm not reporting any data breaches at the moment, but if there was, then it will show them and it will give them some form of guidance of what they should do. So that is really cool. And the user itself can access their profile, and through their profile, they can, actually see their scoring. They start unlocking and seeing badges as they go. And it's, pretty cool capability. If they drill in, they can start looking at their risk scoring, their breakdown based on exposed data, awareness learning, fish test clicking, and fish test compromise, right? So these things will automatically appear. I didn't populate this with too much at this point, so it's all there. Let me give you a sense or an example. Everybody comes on, they come on with the awareness essentials, but let's just go into business email compromise. There's various modules, and of course, there'll be the audio player here where they can just listen to the module. But the idea is that when they start the lesson in itself is not watching a video or anything. It's straight into trivia. Okay. And there's a series of questions that they will go through. How does impersonating a vendor help attackers in a business email compromise attack? Probably not more than 4 or 5 answers. And purposely, I'm going to just give you a wrong answer to show you. And I'm just going to click any one of them and check. And of course, through that, they get the correct answer. But now the AI is actually tracking. It's tracking that they've basically answered this incorrectly. And so what starts to happen is it will start building up a repetition around this type of concept, because it knows that that user is weak around that concept because they answered this incorrectly or they didn't understand the question or the answer properly. And so through that, the AI will self-adapt, and as part of the defense boost, it will resurface a series of questions based on that. So it's pretty cool, in terms of how it works. And it's just quick trivia questions. Like I said, not more than kind of 5 to 6 questions at a time, and spaced out, and that's their training. And unbeknown to them, by actually answering these questions through this trivia, they are actually learning, and there's a science behind all of that. And it's well tracked and it's well understood. So hopefully that gives you a sense, and at any point they can just, leave the lesson and, continue from there. So hopefully that gives you a sense, and I'll return now back to the session just to conclude and open up for any questions.